Yeah, absolutely. But Charmer, we actually have another match here. We're actually going to be jumping into game number 2 of our second match here. We got Nicolas D on Kaisa versus Drew B on the Master Yi. So this is a matchup that we just saw, so we're very well versed with this. Let's take a look and see what we've got here in game number 2.
The question now is this the Aurora Yi? And I think we have our answer right away because we see the stalwart Poro.
It would be impressive if it was.
Not typically a mainstay of the dazzling Aurora Yi. Yeah. Does look like Drew B is already up 1 game in this series.
Yep. I will point out that this match has played the same number of Dazzling Auroras as the previous one.
And we didn't even see game 1, and yet we feel confident in saying
I'm quite confident in saying that the same number of Dazzling Auroras are played.
All right, so as we join this, just point out the battlefields for you if you are listening at home. We have Obelisk of Power that was brought by Drew B and Void Gate from Nicolas D. Nicolas has developed a Kaisa just naturally, no accelerated, from the champion zone.
The non-accelerated Kaisa is a play that I have grown more and more fond of because, boy, does it feel great not having to play that power. And Kaisa, a turn later, is not as good as a Kaisa now, but it's still very good.
Well, in this particular situation, it looked like Nicolas did not have a turn 1 play, so you really need the body. Also, against Yi, you're less likely to be concerned about the Kaisa being defeated from the back line, right? Unless they had a way to like buff plus challenge, maybe.
Unlikely though.
Unlikely though. So you're safe in that development. And so Nicolas does then send the Kaisa over to the Void Gate, scores a point, gets the Conquer, and now we're going to see a Hextech Ray targeting the Stalwart Poro.
Yep. And there is the Discipline.
And it looks like that Discipline will save the Poro.
Yeah.
I was about to say, worth noting that there is still technically 3 damage on the Poro, and it has 4 might till the end of the turn, but with no other damaging spells or abilities on the side of Nicolas. Will just survive through the turn.
Yep.
Drew gets the point for holding with the Stalwart Poro. Those Stalwart Poros, when you're playing Master Yi, are so annoying because you look at it and you're like, it's just a 2-drop with 2 might.
Yeah.
But anytime you try to attack into them, they defend as a 5.
Why is this Poro 5? why is this Poro 5? First off, how dare you?
Yeah. So Drew plays Master Yi from the champion zone and goes to defeat Nicolas's previously played champion, the Kaisa, and is up to 3 points. This is a pretty fast start.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, we have Nicolas now trying to figure out how do I attack into these locations? Because again, we were just saying that Poro by itself, without any cards played, and Drew B has no runes available, is still defending as a 5. So you would have to send both the Hopeful and the Lecturing Yordle just to get over the Poro, and there is no hope of going over Master Yi without also having some spells to deal with it. Now, we do have the pickup of a Hextech Ray in hand.
Yeah, no, but I'm wondering if you want to... Do you use the Hextech Ray to get the value? Well, this may be the answer here. I wonder if we're going to see the Hextech Ray allow the trade for Master Yi. No, we're just going to do the old 1-2 combo. Darius Cleave taking out the Master Yi.
10 is more than 8, but the hidden card is played. That was a Zonia's, which will save the Master Yi. Runes are still up on the side of Nicolas, so we also could just see a Hextech attempt on the Poro as well. You know what's interesting there is there was a window. Once the Hourglass is played as a reaction, you could let it resolve, and then still in the showdown before passing, as an action, could have played the Hex Tech to the other battlefield and have the Poro force the Hourglass save.
That is a heads-up play. That
unfortunately, Nicolas.
Yeah. It's a really weird play, but it is 100% legal, and I think certainly would be in a better position. You'd much rather see a Poro in that back than the Master Yi. Especially since he's so cute.
Yeah. Turns out this game is hard.
It is, and in many ways quite complicated, but that's part of the charm and the reason that we love this game. A lot of play to this one.
All right, so after the double conquer from Nicolas, the points are now tied at 3. I like the reinforce with the hopeful to the Darius on that Void Gate, because as you're kind of playing defense against this Yi, again, Yi will not attack with the bonus, so would it need some sort of additional combat buff to go over the top on that side. Yi could obviously clear up the lecturing Yordle pretty easily, but if you're Nicolas, this protects that Darius. And we know that Darius is a key part of the Kaisa game plan. Yeah. So Drew does send Yi over to deal with the Poro and score a point.
Yeah, the
Yordle.
The Yordle, the Yordle effectively had tank even from the other battlefield there.
Yeah. And then Drew B, so interestingly, reinforces the Yi with a tasty Fey Folk. Yeah. And the only reason I say interestingly is, again, normally as a Master Yi player, you want 1 unit at each battlefield for the bonuses. And so right now, neither of them are getting that Yi bonus.
Right.
But it is also just a lot of might in one place.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is Drew is, because Nicolas got the point here from holding up to 4, Drew is 1 turn ahead. They have the advantage here. So if all things stay the same and we're just holding, Drew is going to win that race. So saying, hey, I'm going to load up here. I'm going to force you to do something.
A second Darius from hand, followed by a Raven Blue after the move back. Righties them both. They're at 14 total. And again, because both units do not get the bonus because you're double stacked, that means you can clear them both out. So Nicolas will now jump ahead, as you were just kind of talking about who's in the lead, 5-4, and clears the board entirely. That was beautiful.
Absolutely. You mentioned the Master Yi units not both getting the buff. Well, Darius does. Both Dariuses do absolutely get the buff. And this is precisely the situation you want to be in as Nicolas. Staying hydrated. Make sure, Chad, if you're out there, stay hydrated, my friends.
This is your reminder to take a drink.
This is your absolute reminder to do that. But Drew is going to want to hydrate their board with some units here, because that is the crux of what Master Yi is doing. Wants to get out ahead and plant down on the battlefields with some big units and some spells to back it up. But when they are behind, and Kaisa has a very formidable board still, it's going to be an uphill battle from Drew here.
Formidable board that's also pretty protected with most units at the base. So we have the Dead Bloom come down from Drew, and a retreat played on the Darius to return that back to Nicolas's hand. Drew goes up to 5, but Nicolas gets to save a key unit. And still kind of has the tempo lead, because, again, when the turn does come back, Nicolas will have first opportunity to continue, scoring ahead, unless Drew had something that would allow them to score that other battlefield.
Right.
But with only 3 runes up, I don't think that's going to be the play here. So we have a Clockwork Keeper coming down.
Yep.
We'll see if Drew decides to pay the power cost to draw a card or not.
I wonder if only Master Yi had sneaky deckhand, they could have scored that. They could have scored that battlefield there.
And does decide to do so. And I think that's probably the right call. It's very clear with the Dead Bloom play that Drew didn't necessarily have many other good unit options there. You did just have the Tasty Fey Folk and the Yi cleaned up previously before, so trying to find some answers is probably the best way to go. The one downside here is that, your runes are still not maybe as high as you'd like to be, because in future turns you're going to have to probably play a number of cards to stay competitive.
Yeah. We see here Nicolas has 3 units in hand. That is not really necessarily where you want to be with Kaisa. He really would like some more of that interaction. You want Cleaves to turn on that Darius and potentially battle here.
Well,
again, like,
so the interesting thing, the Darius can be turned on because the other units are small. The problem is the Darius still can't survive an attack into this Dead Bloom.
Right.
The Cleave would allow it to survive. A Stupefy to maybe find a second one if you wanted to dig or something could also get that done.
Right.
A Watcher would have been amazing here off of the top deck, but instead Nicolas, I think, is just going to take this turn to develop potentially and then score that other battlefield. So we have the Darius come down. There also could be a situation where you're saying, like, I'm okay with the Darius dying, and maybe you send that plus the Hopeful in, but with runes up on the side of Drew, I like the conservative play. You don't want to get blown out by, like, a Discipline.
Yeah, I think, you definitely do not want to get blown out there because we're on low resources on the side of Nicolas here. Every card that is spent frivolously is absolutely going to hurt a lot here as they are drawing off the top deck mode for Nicolas, but a very large board. It's going to be, are they, what does the top of the deck look like? Are they going to be able to turn this in to a winning point at some point?
Well, Nicolas, by going to 6 and then having all of these units in the base, sets up for a turn where could go for the double conquer, depending on what Drew plays and the runes that are left back up, but also by leaving that Raven Bloom at the Void Gate, you're saying, okay, you also have to take this away from me. Otherwise, I only have to, conquer the other spot because I get the point from holding. And as weird as it sounds, that Raven Bloom on a Void Gate is potentially seriously dangerous.
Yeah.
It gets bonuses when you play spells, and damage is increased from the Void Gate. So if there was something like a Hex Tech or whatever, but turns out White Flame Protector makes a keeper huge.
Yeah, does not care at all. That's an easy way to get over the top there. We're going to maybe see a nope, we're going to see a hidden. I believe that's going to likely be a Zanya's. And now the top of the deck is going to determine it all here. What did we get on the side of Nicolas?
It almost needs to be an Acathian Rain or something equivalent.
But
maybe
if it's
a Watcher.
Rain, Drew does have the answer in hand. They're going to start by sending in
the Sentry to dig.
Draw another card.
Which I do. Oh, we
Watcher!
do find a Watcher.
Watcher off the top.
So the reason that the Watcher is important is we're once again in a position where Drew has 2 units. So the bonuses from Yi's passive ability are not online. Watcher will now then reduce these, so they're each a 5. It only has to go over 10. A second card played would also buff the Darius if needed. It's not even really needed. You could just send the Watcher, the Hopeful, and the Raven Bloom over there, and then save the Darius for the Clockwork Keeper side potentially. Nicolas might have found a path to victory here.
Yeah, absolutely might be. We're going to see here. I'll let the players do the math here. I don't know what else we have on the side of Drew to interact with this. I'm not sure what it is.
There's only 2 runes up.
Yeah.
So if you're on the side of Nicolas, the only things you're really worried about are cards like Discipline, maybe On Guard if they run that.
But that's
for
only a +1
the keeper
at this
side.
point. Oh, sure. Yeah, that's what Nicolas is going through here. What is the range of cards that Drew could have here? How do I best play around it? What can I play around?
Obviously, Defy if you were to try to play spells.
Yep.
So again, 10 total might currently on the double unit side because of the Watcher. So even if it was something like a Discipline over there, you only have to go over 12. Watcher by itself is 7. So again, you could send Watcher, Hopeful, and the Raven Bloom pretty safely over there, and then that still leaves the Darius to try to get over the Clockwork. And if you have a second card, the Darius would also get a buff and might before going in. There's also, based on the ordering, I would imagine Nicolas is considering maybe Darius and Watcher going over to the other sides.
Okay, here we go.
So that is going to be the play. Darius does have the might bonus because the second card was played. That was the hopeful. So this is 14 currently against 10.
Yeah, I don't think that we can get to 14 on 2 runes here with 2 units at the battlefield. That I think is what the breaker here is. Master Yi only wants a single unit at the battlefield, and well, I mean, yes, you have more might overall, but you're not able to get that bonus, utilize that bonus that Master Yi is providing. And I'm wondering what Drew is considering here. There's not really any. There's no more decisions to be made from Nicolas. The distribution of attackers has been decided. There's really no reason to hold back if there's anything.
Unless he has a spell in hand that he can also use like reactively, I still think I would have preferred the Raven Bloom and Hopeful, and then Darius going to the other side because 13 still protected you from a discipline, and you would have 7 might instead of 6 on the other side.
Right.
And the reason that that's important is because that keeper is currently a 1, but the moment it becomes a solo defender, it will get the E buff, jump to 3. And with those 2 runes up, if they did have something like a double on guard, then you would not have a victory.
Right.
A single discipline will likely not be enough because that would only take them to 5, so this is still 6. But again, if you're just worried about, so there's the discipline, so that's 5 to 6, and it looks like Nicolas gets the double conquer, and we're going to go into game 3.
Ooh, that was tough. I think once Nicolas sort of mathed it out, parsed out what they were going to do, what was the most optimal line. I mean, I think I liked your line a little bit better, but again, like ended up working out. I think the range was pretty wide there, but there was only a certain power that we could get, a certain might threshold that we could get to, and Nicolas ends up taking it down there. Watcher, surprisingly enough, winning games.
And such a heads-up play to send the sentry in.
Yes.
And just dig for the answer, because that was ultimately a game-winning decision, very heads up, and again, forcing a game 3. We love game 3s in our card games.
Absolutely. You love to see it happen. You love to get there. And speaking of which, we are jumping right in to game number 3 here. Looks like Drew is on the play, starting with that stalwart Poro. Why in the world is this Poro 5?
Well, the other thing that I'm seeing here is now that we're going to game 3, they're both on their last battlefield, and it just happens to be double Grove of the God Willow. And I think this has to favor the Yi player.
I would think
it's
so.
It's very weird to see Grove in the Kaisa list just because it's not a deck that traditionally holds a lot. It's very conquer-centric. So, you know, seeing 1 is bad enough, but now anytime Drew holds or sits on something like with this this early Poro play, they're going to be cards drawn.
Yeah.
And then we do see an on guard in the deck, so I was not hallucinating when I thought about that as a potential out.
Oh yeah, certainly a card that gets played quite a bit. Yeah, I think it would need to be double on guard
had to be
there.
double,
yeah, but
to be
still,
fair.
I mean, still possible for sure. Still.
Double Poro start. Absolutely brutal for Nicolas unless a Falling Star comes off the top. Falling Star would be beautiful here. We see a couple of Stupefies and a Hex Tech.
Hex Tech, Ray?
Yeah. So going to send that, but an on guard will currently save the Poro.
Yeah, it could Stupefy. It's going to let that happen and then Stupefy.
Yeah.
Draw on a card. There's a Watcher. Not oh, that's double Watcher. Don't necessarily want those this early, but we will take it.
I think most importantly here, you're just denying the draw off the hold as well. You could have seen Nicolas just go to the other location, but the issue is knowing there's already another Poro there, your sentry's not going to defend against that, and the last thing you want is double Star Wars Poro on 2 Grove of the God Willows.
Yep. We see the other Stupefy here, threatening to kill the Poro.
And the discipline to save it.
Yep.
A lot of cards being drawn by both players because of many of these spells cycling things, as well as the death knell from the sentry.
Yep. Nicolas ending up flush on cards here. And even though it didn't end up working out, Drew had the answer in both occasions here. Just forcing more cards out of the hand of Drew here. Now tabbing out for that Catalyst of Aeons, even though we're quite confident that this is not a Dazzling Aurora list. It is still very nice. The mid-range Ys do go over the top.
They do go over the top. It would be kind of funny if it was something where they felt confident enough in their early game that they just bring it in from the board when people think that they're off of it.
That would be hilarious, although I think you probably want to board out the Poros if that's the case.
I mean, maybe or maybe not. Maybe you're saying, like, I only play this if I'm ahead anyway, and then it just puts the game out of reach, right? Like, it could just be maybe a 1 or a 2 of as a closer. I don't think that's the case, but seeing the Catalyst does kind of make me chuckle.
Mad scientist brewing that I'm absolutely here for. I do love myself a transformational sideboard here. Now, Nicolas deciding what to do with their resources. Where is this Ravenbloom student going? Are we contesting? We have a little bit of an opening here in terms of Drew being exhausted entirely.
Yeah.
And
so that's the real thing, right? With all of the runes for Drew being exhausted, there is an opening if you can go over the top of the Poro to do so, but how many resources are you going to expend to do that? If you have to start a combat, for example, it goes all the way up to a 5. The Ravenbloom by itself will go over to the other grove. So now we're going to see a Darius into, what a beautiful play. So the Hopeful being cheap, also a lot of might. Darius 7, definitely bigger than 5. Double Conquer, so Nicolas goes to 3 points.
Yeah, and you may be thinking, that seemed like a very obvious play. Like, that was very strong. Nicolas in a very big, very good board position here. But, play clean. Take the time. Take the beat. Take a breath. Decide, is this actually the line of play that I want to make? Because we've seen in previous matches, like, even just spending an additional power on a turn can bite you in the butt multiple turns later and end up throwing your game off. Also, Darius may be a key card.
So the other reason that, I was just about to say, the other reason that I think was so long is you're trying to figure out how you position yourself. We knew it was a double watcher hand even before that sabotage. So I was thinking, okay, maybe Nicolas is trying to figure out how to get best positioned into these watcher turns, but it's triple watcher. Drew whiffs on the sabotage, but gains all of the information. And now we're going to have a tasty Feyfolk accelerated come down, pick this fight with Darius.
Yep, Darius gone.
Off the Conquer, Drew ties it up at 3, but Nicolas will get the hold point, go back up to 4. And I wonder what Nicolas is going to do for this turn.
Well,
what
they do have 2 fresh
the outcome could be? You are correct. 2 fresh cards because they actually were able to hold on the Grove of the Godwillow. So we know that Nicolas's hand is currently 3 Watchers plus 2 mystery cards. But if you've got Watchers to spare, they are pretty attractive to continue jamming.
Yeah.
So we do see one come down. You have to recycle 2 runes when you're accelerating, but because you get 2 back every turn, as long as you keep hitting your blues, you can just run Watcher for 3 straight turns. And if your opponent can't keep up with that, that might be good enough. Yeah,
and all the while, you can try to contest that Watcher side, but also our Arby's manager is sitting over in the branch just collecting the checks every turn. That's a point for holding every turn. Yeah, go fight over at this Grove of the Godwillow. I'm over here raking in the points all the while.
Well, and again, it's also worth noting that if Drew is just clearing one of these off and Nicolas is holding one, Nicolas is also drawing cards every time. This is so... This is not the way that I anticipated this match going. I will say this. It's kind of mind-boggling because normally these Groves would heavily favor the Yi player. And yet Nicolas has found a way to make the double Grove of the Godwillow work in his favor by just keeping the board clear.
Oh, I thought you were going to say by just drawing 3 Thousand-Tailed Watchers.
And I think there was just some questions there, or some clarifications, mind you, about the combat stuff, but I think Nicolas was just saying, hey, the hopeful moved up after
Yeah, that
combat.
was a post-combat move. Yep.
So Drew has all of the runes available, literally all of them.
Yep, 100%.
We're going to see, I believe, another tasty Fey Folk.
Yep.
Will get a conquer point and clear off the Ravenbloom student occupied Grove of the God Willow.
Mm-hmm.
Keeper to draw a card, another Clockwork Keeper to draw a card.
Yep. We are seeing a bit.
And I don't think it's been updated yet, but there should have been, there we go, conquer point.
Yep.
So very important because we are hitting the phase of the game where with Nicolas being at 6, could close out a game with a double score on the following turn.
Yep.
Can't do it this turn, obviously, just going to 6, but we are hitting the end game. We're hitting the danger zone.
Right. I wonder, do you just develop as much as possible and say, I have the Watcher, what are you going to do about it? Possibly.
I mean, that is an option, but knowing that there's like 2 Watchers, another Watcher just cleaning up the Fey Folk, and then still saying like, hey, you have to take both of these away from me because a single hold will not be enough, I think is still fine. Like, I don't think Nicolas has to do anything flashy here. The amount of resources that Drew would need to clear off both would be pretty high. Now, the one downside is because that's a tasty Fey Folk there, Drew would go into the next turn with, again, full runes, get the extra card.
But the face-up cards, the Master Yi in Chosen Champion Zone does not help with that. If it's something like a White Flame Protector, not going to be enough. It's going to be too many resources to just take one battlefield.
So there is one consideration for not potentially doing Watcher.
Okay.
Depending on what the rune split is, a lot of Kaisas run 7 and 5, more red than blue.
Sure.
If that's the case, there could be a situation here where Nicolas would know that the next 2 runes would not be 2 more blue. He only has 2 available, and those would both have to be recycled to accelerate a Watcher. So that's actually important. The rune split could dictate Nicolas's choices here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. Though they do get a potential rebuy of a rune if absolutely needed with the recall there. Don't know.
Well, but if you, my point is, if you accelerate a Watcher, that's all your runes. So you wouldn't get a rebuy. Like it would be your full 8. You would recycle the 2 blue. Yes, you'd get 2 more next turn, but if it's not guaranteed to be 2 blue, if you're not a 6-6 split and it's just 4 blue left, because again, some Kaisas I've seen go 7-5 one way or the other. If it's 7-5 in favor of Fury, you actually can't Watcher
accelerate.
And Watcher.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, because we know. Right. I see what you're saying. No, you're absolutely right. That could potentially be the case, and we know that there's at least 2 blue on the bottom, so that may be the consideration. And we see a smoke screen there, which also does not consume a blue because we're playing Kaisa.
Yeah, I was about to say, normally would consume, but the Kaisa legend ability would allow you to pay for that.
Yep. I also have a pair of Noxus
I was just going to say, you were talking about, do I just develop a bunch? That's a lot.
It's a lot of might.
That's a lot of might that could go down pretty cheaply. And so Nicolas, just trying to think through what else could be available, asked to see what's in the trash of Drew.
2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, I wonder, do you have something medium and then follow it up with 2 Noxus Hopefuls? That is what my gut says.
Ideally what you'd want is like a 2-drop, double Noxus Hopeful, and then sit on the smoke screen. But
or why not? Let's just go with the Watcher.
After all of that, it's just going to be Watcher the Fey Folk. And again, I don't hate this play, right?
No, I in fact quite like it.
It very likely could just be an even 6-6 split, and so you're guaranteed to have the 3rd one as an option. But if there was, say, like a 2-drop, you could have went 2 and then hopeful, have a smoke screen up. That also would have been, I think, a fantastic defensive posture.
Yep. But even
this way, though, you do deny a draw from the Grove of the God Willow, but it's negated by the fact that the Death Knell of the Fey Folk just draws them a card anyway.
True. Yeah, I think it's there's no wrong way to eat this Reese's is how I feel about about this. There's an old man reference for you.
That was my reminder to take some ibuprofen.
I think it was a very favorable situation for Nicolas. But again, I do not hold it against anyone for taking their time, think through the plays, think what are the possibilities, what is the range that my opponent can have. You want to, I mean, again, this is a high-level tournament. This is what we are playing for. Okay. You want to make sure that you're making the best play possible.
So there is a dead bloom in Drew's hand.
2 dead blooms.
But I was going to say, unfortunately, that would only get rid of one side. So with the need to clear both, Drew just does not have enough to get it done. Looks like, I was trying to do the math, right? A dead bloom could clear up the Watcher, and then you have the 2 Clockwork Keepers, but even with some sort of buffs, it's not going to be enough to take that 4 above the 11 that was sitting on the other side.